This is the Aipas A2 folding electric bike, a fat tire folding e-bike that's really caught my attention lately. Just looking at it, you get a strong sense that it's built to be tough but convenient. The frame is solid with an aluminum step-through design that definitely makes it feel welcoming for a lot of people, including me. The big 20-inch wheels with fat, puncture-resistant tires make it stand out, and those tires look ready to handle city streets, park trails, or even some light off-road sections. It comes in this piano black finish that gives it a really sleek vibe. When I first saw it in person, I was actually pretty impressed by the balance between robust features and that compact foldable shape. From my experience using this bike, there's this immediate sense of power as soon as I start riding. That's thanks to the 750-watt brushless motor, which honestly surprised me with how much punch it has, especially when tackling inclines that I'd usually just walk my bike up. The boost from the motor lets me reach up to 28 miles per hour if I'm using pedal assist, and the ride still feels very controlled and stable at those speeds. There are 5 levels of pedal assist, and it took me a bit to find my favorite. But usually, level 3 is right where I like it for most rides. For people new to e-bikes, pedal assist means that the motor helps you pedal. You choose how much help you want, and the bike senses your pedaling and adds a kick for you. The removable battery is another key feature I found valuable. It's 48 volts and 12.8 amp hours, which, translated into plain English, means it's got enough juice to take you up to about 25 to 62 miles, depending on how much help you use from the motor and how heavy you are, plus things like weather and terrain. I was a bit skeptical at first about the range, but after commuting several days and only having to recharge after a couple of rides, I'm convinced it's got solid capacity. The fact that you can pull the battery out of the frame to charge it indoors is super handy too, especially if you live in an apartment. One of the first things I noticed while riding was just how comfortable the Aipas A2 is. The fat tires soak up so much of the bumps and cracks in the road. Add the front suspension fork, and that combination really cushions the ride, making it pretty forgiving on rougher city streets or gravel paths. In my opinion, it's perfect for someone who wants a daily commuter that also isn't afraid to try a few dirt trails or rough patches now and then. I want to talk for a second about the folding aspect, since it's a big reason I picked this up. Folding the bike is quick and straightforward. You fold the frame at the hinge in the center, flip down the handlebars, and collapse the pedals. I can do it in less than 10 seconds with a bit of practice. When it's folded, it's compact enough to fit in the trunk of my car or slide next to my desk at work. From my experience, if you live somewhere with limited storage, like a small apartment, or if you need to haul your bike on public transportation, this design is a lifesaver. Braking was something I initially worried about, since the Aipas A2 uses mechanical disc brakes rather than hydraulic. For new riders, mechanical disc brakes work by using a cable to squeeze pads onto a disc, while hydraulic brakes use fluid for a smoother feel and more force. In practice, I found that the mechanical brakes work well under normal city conditions, and the 180mm rotors give me plenty of control. If you're a heavier rider or plan to go down steep hills repeatedly, you might notice the brakes feel a bit less fancy than some top-of-the-line models. For my daily commutes, though, I feel safe and in control. The bike has a Shimano 7-speed transmission, which, for e-bikes, gives you enough flexibility to handle a range of inclines. While the gear range isn't massive, so you might find yourself relying heavily on the motor up steep hills, it's more than enough for city rides and most mixed terrain. I notice sometimes on the steepest slopes, I'd be glad for both the lowest gear and the motor working together. Shifting is done by thumb, which I found easy and intuitive even on the move. The display is one of my favorite features. It's large, backlit, and easy to read even in bright sunlight. I can see information like my current speed, trip distance, battery level, and my pedal assist setting. There's a simple integrated button setup for turning on the front and rear LED lights, which are plenty bright for evening commutes. The rear light also works as a brake light, and you even get turn signals, which I found actually useful when riding in traffic. For me, that's a big move towards better safety, and I appreciated not having to worry about adding extra lights. The bell is small, but loud enough. Again, that's something I use every ride. Storage is another strong point for this bike. It comes with a sturdy rear rack already installed. I use mine to carry groceries, a backpack, sometimes even a small box, up to about 350 pounds total weight, which is more than enough for me and most cargo runs I might think up. The step-through frame makes the bike much easier to get on and off, especially if you're carrying stuff or wearing bulkier clothes. Before trying it, I'd thought step-through frames might look less sturdy, but honestly, the build here is solid and confidence-inspiring. I did find the bike's weight a little challenging at first. At about 60 pounds, it's not exactly light. Carrying it upstairs is possible. I've done it a few times when I didn't have another option, but I wouldn't want to do it every day. The upside to that extra weight is you get an e-bike that feels sturdy, doesn't flex, and can handle bigger riders or more cargo. Assembly was mostly straightforward. It comes pre-assembled and all the major components are in place, but I still had to attach the pedals, adjust the seat, and check all the bolts. The included toolkit made it relatively easy, though if you're brand new to e-bikes, I'd recommend taking a few minutes to read through the manual or watch a quick online setup guide. The seat is vinyl covered and fairly wide, which for me is great for comfort even on longer rides. Adjusting the seat height or the handlebars is easy to do on the fly. I'm on the taller side, and I can still ride comfortably, while my partner, who's much shorter, can also fit the Aipas A2 with a quick seat drop. I'd recommend this for people who want a bike that can do a little bit of everything: urban commuting, light trails, portable storage, and enough comfort for everyday use. If you're new to e-bikes, it handles intuitively and doesn't feel overwhelming at all. If you're a more experienced rider, you'll still appreciate the strong motor and solid range. One thing I'd like to see improved, maybe in future models, is the braking system. I think hydraulic brakes would make the ride feel even safer at higher speeds. Any quick review of the Aipas A2 would be missing something if I didn't mention the overall riding experience. It's smooth, responsive, and gives you an extra sense of freedom. I noticed that when I switch between pedal assist and just using the throttle, yes, you can ride with just the throttle and not pedal at all. The transition is smooth, and there's this cruise feeling that makes it a blast to ride, even on days when I'm tired from work. From my experience, the fat tires give you tons of traction, especially in wet or loose surfaces like gravel or grass. They do add a little rolling resistance, which means you might not go quite as fast if you're pedaling only, or spend a little more battery if you keep using top speeds. That being said, I'd take the extra comfort and stability any day over squeezing out a bit more speed. I also want to say, as someone who's bounced around between a few different e-bikes, this Aipas A2 feels like it's been thought through for ordinary people. There's no steep learning curve, and all the key features, motor, folding design, lighting, comfort, are there without feeling complicated or fussy. It's really just get on and go. In conclusion, the Aipas A2 folding electric bike checks a lot of boxes for me personally. Reliable power, comfortable ride, portability, solid storage options, and a design that feels both tough and stylish. The weight and mechanical brakes may be small trade-offs, but overall, I think it's a great pick if you want something practical, fun, and user-friendly. I will leave all the information about the Aipas A2 folding electric bike in the comments. I hope to see you again in the following videos.